Hey everybody, welcome to Goshen Prepping. Of course, we want to stockpile, we want to prep, we want to have our prepper pantry absolutely full. But I'll be honest with you, there are some things from the grocery store that are absolutely a waste of money. Do not buy these 8 items. Let's jump right into it. Number 1, pre-cut foods. And the reason the stores sell these, they're way, way overpriced, by the way, is obviously convenience. And personally, my favorite one is minced onions. I love onions and adding a little bit of flavor with those. Okay, there we go. But stay away from this. It's always best to get your own produce, process it, have like a couple days where you go through processing a whole bunch of different produce, put them in the freezer bags, put them in the freezer, and you will save a ton of money. So it's about prepping smartly. Number 2, individual size foods. Oh yeah, and the corporations got really smart on this one. Instead of selling you a giant bulk thing of, like, for example, Cheez-Its, now you can get the giant bag full of like 24 little Cheez-It packs. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's great for portion control. It's great to give it off to little Lex and Timmy as they head off to school. That's a good thing, but it's so much more expensive. It's ridiculous. So it's always best to buy bulk whatever you can, whatever it is. Get your own little baggies. Even reusable baggies is always a better thing. Divvy it up as soon as you get home. That way you won't have problems with the portion control, and do it yourself and save money. Number 3, out-of-season produce. And here's the trick in the grocery store, by the way. Since it takes months for something to go out of season, the prices will be very slow to fluctuate and change. And therefore, when you buy strawberries during the summer, the prices are lower, but wintertime, you don't really notice the prices have actually become more expensive. So research and find what produce you like to buy and buy it in season. Then, of course, process it, can it, dehydrate it, freeze dry it, whatever you need to, and save money in the long run. Number 4, individual spice bottles. I always say, buy lots of spices, flavor up everything. Even with massive crap hits the fan, you want things to taste good to give you that sense of normality. Normality? You want things to be normal. So spices are good, but buying the little bottles, not so good. It's incredible how expensive these are. You really have 2 options. One is I like to buy bulk spices and fill up my little bottles. I get them from Azure Standard. I'll link that below. Huge bags, and the amount of spices they have is simply incredible. Check them out if you get a chance. But secondly, too, obviously, just buy the produce. You'd be amazed how easy it is to go ahead and buy the produce, process it up, dehydrate it, chop it up, and make your own spices. And I'll tell you, the difference when you do that is unbelievable in how better things taste. Number 5, microwave popcorn. And I cannot stress to you how bad microwave popcorn is for multiple reasons, by the way. First off, it's chemicals, TBHQ and BHA, chemicals that are in there sometimes. I mean, not all of them have it, but some do. So bad for you. But secondly, it's corn, GMO'd, high carbs. As far as grain goes, it's one of the highest glycemic things you can get. It really is bad for you. Now, with that, I understand that people want to have their popcorn. And what they'll usually do is buy like the small little packs that has, like, I say this facetiously, like 3 kernels in it, and that way it's portion control, and I get that. But even then, don't do that. Buy regular, just unpopped popcorn in the bag and pop it yourself. You don't even have to have an air popper. If we just simply would take a paper bag, put them in the paper bag and close it and put it in the microwave, it'll pop just fine. Then you can add whatever things you want to, like whatever spices per se, and actually make it the best for you. It's still corn, still GMO corn, still high in carbs. But if you do it, at least get rid of the chemicals and pop it yourself. Number 6, cereal. And I have to admit, on occasion, and I mean very rarely, we'll let the kids eat cereal. It's really bad for you. But, when we do, we'll buy it like in those giant bulk bags that, has like some kind of funny name. Instead of Fruit Loops, like Fruitios or something like that. But I needed to let you know that all cereals are bad for you. They all have a relatively high sugar count. Some have a ridiculous high sugar count. Even like for me, I like the Twigs called All Brand. It's like little sticks and stuff in there. It's not good, especially eating that in the morning, spiking your pancreas first thing with your insulin, really not good stuff. So even if you buy it in bulk, I would try to refrain from having cereal as much as possible. Now, when it comes to this, I think one of the best things to do, by the way, for breakfast, if you do have to have breakfast, and there's a little bit of sugar content in this too, are like rolled oats. It's really good for you, high in proteins. And as far as like the glycemic levels, nothing like cereals. Cereals from the grocery store, especially when it comes to prepping, pretty much stay away from that area. Number 7, over-the-counter medications. And I know this is not a food, even though some people absolutely do eat them like candy, which they shouldn't. Personally, we like to use natural alternatives, trying to do things without actually taking pharmaceuticals. You have to understand that I don't care if it's a drug like a prescription or a drug like this, it's still a controlled substance. It is a drug. And personally, even though I'm a doctor, I used to be down that drug path. Not anymore. I really want to do things naturally. Now, if you do have to buy them, and I understand you want to have these, your best thing to do instead is buy bulk, and also get the generic ones, because the generic ones have the same active ingredient chemicals as the brand name ones at a fraction of the price. Number 8, frozen foods. And if you notice, all these categories are all about convenience, and especially when it comes to frozen foods. But the convenience, not only are we talking about the price, but we're talking about preservatives and the carbs in there. They literally pack them full of stuff to make them incredibly tasty and addictive. I'm not kidding you. Try to stay away from frozen foods like that as much as possible. I'm not talking about just frozen vegetables, but like the different like lasagnas or whatever that require practically no homemade stuff. And that's what I always want to stress. If you're going to be doing prepping, you really need to learn to be in the kitchen and prep your own food that way. But tell me, what would you stay away from in the stores? I know there's other stuff too. Put it in the comments below. Now, you do want to know what best foods to stockpile, the ones that are healthiest for you and the best to eat. Watch it in this video right here. And thanks for watching.